I do believe that Gold Fields is one of the leaders in our sector when it comes to mitigating climate change impact, and particularly if you think about the programs and projects that are underway to reduce our carbon footprint, I think demonstrates our willingness to make a difference. We all have a role to play in combating climate change and the impact that it is having on our planet and our minds and our people. We can just see by the report that we've spoken about in terms of production, the impact of severe weather events is having, and we certainly believe that that is going to become more prevalent. We are targeting 30% net emission reduction and 50% absolute emission reduction by 2030. This calculation is based on an assumed production volume of around 2.8 million ounces by 2028. Critically, we are, like many other corporates, committed to a net zero by 2050 against our 2016 baseline. We also rebaselined our Scope 3 emissions during 2023 and set a 2030 target to reduce our Scope 3 emissions by 10% against our 2022 baseline. These Scope 3 emissions make up around 37% of our total emissions, and whilst not in our direct control, we will continue to be working with our major suppliers to achieve this target. The contribution of renewables in our electricity mixes continues to grow, and last year totaled 17% of our total energy requirements, thanks to the contribution of our new solar plants at Gruyere and at South Deep. As a result, our net Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions in 23 were 4% below the baseline, and absolute emissions reduced by 12%. In terms of the new renewables projects at St. Ives, where we are starting construction of a solar and wind plant that will provide more than 70% of St. Ives' electricity requirements with backup to the thermal plants. The plant will reduce electricity costs by around 30% annually and reduce group emissions by 6%. At Granny Smith, we are adding 11 megawatts of solar with 7 megawatts of battery storage to the existing 8 megawatts and 2 megawatts of battery storage. Construction is also underway of a 7 megawatt solar farm at our newest Salares Norte mine in Chile. At the end of March, and as part of the release of our integrated annual report suite of reports, we also published our 6th climate change report, which amongst others provides an overview of Gold Fields' climate change-related strategies and a detailed Scope 1 to 3 carbon footprint during 2023. In terms of water management, we're also very much on track to achieve our 2030 targets, namely the recycling or reusing 80% of the water we use and reducing our freshwater use by 45% against the 2018 baseline. During 2023, 74% of our water was recycled and reused, compared to 75% in 2022, and freshwater use was reduced by 39% against 40% in 2022 from the 2018 baseline. Water saving initiatives are implemented at all our mines, but specifically those in countries where water is a scarce resource or where we share it with host communities remains a key focus. The emergence of AI we see as both an opportunity and a risk to the business, and this has been subject of a number of discussions in the organization to ensure that we manage this with the right opportunity and risk lens.